All right, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back. Good evening. I do want to apologize for yesterday's study session. I have no excuse. Like literally, I guess I was traveling and tired from working, and literally I had it on my mind to call and log in at a certain time. My alarm did not even go off. I have no excuse. So thank you for being patient and forgiving me. Tonight's study session is going to start chapter 7, the treatment room. I'm also available tomorrow as well if you want to do a makeup day or Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon. You let me know. I'm open, available to whatever you have available, whatever time you have. And yeah, I just want to offer that. So tomorrow, Saturday, whatever works for you. I am available to do a makeup day. Okay. All right, let's look at chapter 7, the treatment room. We're getting to the nitty gritty because next chapter is facial, the facial treatment. We're gonna be getting in good. Chapter 7, the treatment room, 261, 262, 263 on your ebooks. We have our objectives here. Um, doing something differently today. Usually we bypass the objectives and we meet the objectives on the actual pages where we see where we're outlining. But today, let's look at a few of these objectives. Very easy objectives. Explaining why treatment room preparation is an internal part of providing treatments. So now we're preparing to actually perform the services, okay? And so the treatment room preparation, this is us just getting ready, okay? It's a vital and important part of the services. Review the elements of an esthetician's professional appearance. Now we're also looking at your image. What do you present? Outline essential room and station structure features. What are some essentials that you must have in every treatment room? Okay. Describe the idea of ambience, furniture, and equipment for facials. Ambience, what type of atmosphere do you want to set? If they're mainly coming in to get a facial, what type of atmosphere do you want your clients to walk in on? As they're laying on the treatment bed, what type of atmosphere, what type of environment do you want to present? Okay. Um, let's discuss comfortable beds. When is it okay just to get, the starter package, and when you should be moving to your professional package, and other equipments for facial, pieces of equipment for facial, because yes, you could do your basic traditional, but then when you have a clientele that needs more electrotherapy, you're going to have to buy other apparatus to go along with what you already have. So we're going to identify that, and we can also identify that I'm going to probably share some Amazon finds, okay, when it comes to equipment and treatment room, just to kind of ease up a couple of things as well. Properly manage treatment room supplies and products, labeled and restocked. Okay, that's our biggest thing, keeping it labeled and restocking. Be able to set up facial treatment areas such as a facial bar or station. So we're going to go over, probably watch a video on the traditional setup. Prepare the treatment room for services. Your towels. Properly clean and disinfect the treatment room, the cleanup, okay? Every time you finish the service, there should be a full cleansing going on of the treatment room. All because you did not use it, it does not mean you don't clean, okay? You're supposed to prep the room also for the person coming behind you or for the next client. So we have to get into building that, is making sure we're good and the next person coming into the room starts fresh, just like we started fresh. Okay. Perform pre and post procedures to meet safety and health requirements. That goes right along with infection control. Half of prepping this treatment room is infection control. Okay. The pre, of course, we have our analysis, consultation. Okay. And then we get into building our treatment room, how we set up everything. And the post is us cleaning up everything, replacing everything, disposing of everything. This is also where you learn of single-use versus multi-use items. Single-use items, we're going to trash them. Multi-use items, we're going to clean them or disinfect them. You have video and rubrics like step-by-step procedures as well on how to perform this. And so that is pretty cool. We just had someone just pass their theory exam as well. And she said she just scheduled her practical for later towards the end of the month. So that's super exciting. Yes. Okay. So it says we're going to highlight in yellow page 264, explain why the treatment room preparation is an internal part of providing treatments. Okay. The treatment room setup, let's go there, starting in yellow, includes choosing and properly installing and arranging furniture, equipment, supplies, and products. Okay. Having all of your things in place. Here's what's important. You do not want to, once you have settled in and you're preparing to perform the service for your client, you are not going to need to get up. If you're having to get up to find stuff and get up and go borrow stuff, you did not properly set up the pre-treatment for this client. The pre-setup includes all of this preparation, things that you thought you would need, and you may need to do a checklist for the first year or so just to make sure you got everything going on down the list. Okay. Included in this chapter are easy to use checklists and advice for setting up, cleaning, disinfecting, keeping the room well stocked. Because you use so much single-use items, the single-use items are like cotton balls, gauze, spatulas, so many items that you just, use and then throw away. You got to keep those things stocked up. Okay. It says whether you intend on becoming a salon, a spa owner, suite owner, or even being a part of the staff, you got to make sure that you maintain the highest standards. So I'm highlighting this in yellow. Okay. Estheticians literally set the standard, maintaining the highest standards in professionalism, personal hygiene, and image, as well as following proper protocol, is vital to your success after the facial service. It is critical to follow proper cleaning and disinfection protocols to prepare the treatment room or station for the next client. All right. Maintaining the highest standards in professionalism, personal hygiene, and image, as well as following proper protocol, is vital to your success. That we want to make sure we always highlight that. And it says after the facial service, it's critical to follow proper cleaning and disinfection. Can you see how this flows right back into chapter 5, right back into infection control, in which that is a huge portion of our exam. So even this chapter is worthy of the study because it incorporates now what we have to clean up pre and post the facial service. And if you're going to be a part of the team, it is something that everybody is expected to pull their weight on. Okay. Estheticians are looked at as the cream of the crop. We usually wear white in the past. Okay. So image has been everything. Personal hygiene has been everything. And just a higher level of professionalism. Where you see industries that have kind of, moved towards trends. White is not like the standard anymore, but the standard still should be and creme de la creme. Okay. Personal hygiene should be in place, and image, clean, crisp, should be in place as well, because what we service is the thing that people see first, and that's the skin. Learning our protocols just helps us build our skills. Okay. Continue highlighting. You're going to see this in the check-in questions. It says estheticians should study and have a thorough understanding of treatment room because essential to provide a consistent, comfortable, relaxing, and clean environment for the client. Planning and preparing a well-stocked and organized room is always necessary to function efficiently and provide good service. Complying with your state board regulations, you got to always make sure we're complying with state board. Don't you know in aesthetics and cosmetology, there's certain things, certain products you cannot use, and also certain tools, certain pieces of equipment you cannot use as well. So a lot of times before people go and, hey, I see her use this on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, what if your state says that that is not in your scope of practice? But right now, a regular esthetician in Tennessee cannot do microneedling, even though microneedling is a rapid growing, is growing its audience. Okay, so all because you may see it on social media outlets, and this person work at the spa down the street, that's her putting her stuff in jeopardy. And also, if it's not a med spa or a medical doctor associated with it and training has taken place that you are under, and they can sign off on your training and, hey, whatever she do, I'm responsible for it. If you don't have them kind of people, to them doctors or medical professionals that back you like that, no, we're not doing any advanced facial or chemical services. All right. Tennessee keeps it within a standard. You can also do some more. You got to have that doctor's signature. Basically, it's like insurance. That doctor got to put you on this insurance. Okay. And if I'm telling you now, a lot of doctors are like, I like the money. I want the money. But in order to get them to do that, they want to also know that you're well trained. Okay. They also want to know that you're well trained. Planning and preparing a well stocked and organized room. So you're always doing inventory. You always want to make sure you're stocked up because you don't want to get up and go get anything. Your towels, your linen, everything should be clean. Whether you're using the tissue, the disposable tissue or not, everything should be clean. Everything should be wiped down. It should be spotless when we come into that treatment room or suite. Okay, making sure we comply with state board, and then being confident that everything you need is there. The clients can feel your confidence. Okay, you don't want to be working on a client, and client's like, I'm not sure if she knows what she's doing. They can literally feel how you feel. Okay, when we we were one of the few that have the permission with our license to touch clients. Okay, and touch them and see them in intimate situations. They reveal body parts. We're just one of the few professions. And so at the end of the day, what we want to do is make sure our clients are comfortable and they know that we know what we're doing. Okay, that takes practice, that takes understanding, you studying, and also it takes you having a major confidence within yourself. When we touch the client, especially on the neck, many people talk about the word energy. Okay, I be side eyeing when people say energy. Okay, many people talk about energy, but here's something called holistic healing, and it is real. There is an energy transfer. Okay, when one person will lay their hands on another person, you can transfer from one atmosphere, feeling, or mood, and it could transfer over to another person through touch. Okay, touch is just one of them. Touch is just one of them. When you have to do your client is laying down, you're draping them, you start touching them. What do? You on the aesthetics, you are touching their head, their neck, their décolleté. Those are your areas of, and of course the face. Well, in the neck area, the bottom of the head, the neck area, there's something called our brain and our nervous system, right? Those nerves come together in the neck area. So it's sometimes people say that's the most sensitive part of my body. It's simply it is because all the nerves together. It senses stuff, it feels stuff, it receives and it gives out. It pushes out. Okay. And our brain has reception, like receptors, and it lets us know how that feels. That feels cold, that feels hot. Oh, their hands are not pleasing, it's rough. All of those receptors, but also it pulls in what we consider energy. All right. So if you're not happy about servicing your client, do not start touching them, because that is going to come on to the client and it's going to be heavy. And on the other side, if your client got a whole lot of stuff going on and you just say, I just want to go and get it done, you are touching them. There is 9 times out of 10 a transfer every time you touch them of energy, whether it's going left or right to left. Why we call it holistic healing, because if you ever been to a church and someone has prayed for someone or said they want to lay hands, that's called impartation, but it's also called holistic healing, impartation by touch. So the overwhelming feeling of there's a God presence. Also, when I touch this person, that feeling that God presence translates to this other person's atmosphere. Okay. Holy, holistic, holy, holistic. All right. So that's where we get holistic healing from. You can literally experience healing through a person's touch. Okay. And so, although it is called holistic healing, the good stuff, there's also the bad stuff that can be transferred. So, try to make sure when we're performing services, we're around people with good energy. And sometimes people call it vibes. I don't know. I don't keep up. But I think people know that they know. When clients are coming in and they've had a bad day, you have to ask yourself, when my client comes in, and I know my client works 8 to 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, and she's a busy schedule and she works like that, but she's coming in for a facial at 6 o'clock in the afternoon, had to go through traffic. How do I want to feel if I had work, family, traffic, and then I'm coming in to get my facial? I want her to come in with me greeting her softly. I want to touch all of her senses. I want the suite, the room to smell good. It starts to relax her. I want it to feel good, so the temperature is not too cold and it's not too hot. Okay. Setting up the treatment room, we're going to look at her site. Sometimes you can look at Pinterest and look at treatment rooms. They're neutrals, they're bold, they come in a whole lot of different colors. But most important, chic, looks, relax, whatever your vibe is, you want it to be inviting and relaxing to the client. Try not to be so busy with the decor, but it's to each his own. I want to come in and I don't want to be distracted by different things. Okay. Also, when it comes to taste, still looking at their senses. When it comes to taste, the fruit water, you can have seltzer water, you can have, and remember, we're looking at beautifying the skin. So we won't probably have anything out there that is going to cause your skin to have issues. So pretty much no sugars, no milks, no chips, things of that nature. So fruit, some mint, and a slight fruit water. That's what I would serve. Okay. And my hearing, the hearing of the client, I will have some relaxing music on, something that doesn't have a whole lot of fast rhythm. No, we want to slow it down. We want to have some jazz, some light jazz, maybe some ocean water, some whatever sounds you want to do, some white sound. But I just want them relaxed. Once you tap into their senses, you have already set the mode for the treatment room. Okay. You've already set the mode. All right. Here's practicing good hygiene with dressing professionally. I'm highlighting yellow. Having a neat appearance. You want what we call a polished look. Positive attitude. Okay. I'm gonna make sure that's good. Your image and your attitude got to work. I don't say I don't care, but it does not matter if you're the most popular person. I won't, sir, I won't come spend my money with you because I don't want to spend my money with somebody has a negative outlook on me, who's disrespectful, talks crazy, curses me out. No, I need you to have a consideration. I want you to be thankful. The economy is kind of, whatever. Some people, will look at that as, hey, I can't afford it. And when I do, I want to know that when I'm giving you my money, you're literally appreciating me coming in as a client. So we got to make sure our attitude matches how we look. And we can look really professional, but our attitude got to be together. Here's our checklist for professional image, making sure that we're together. Well-groomed hair, not saying it has to be done all the time, but it needs to be smooth. It needs to, if you're going to wear natural hair, it can be tamed. I don't want you to just wake up and just say, I'm natural, not doing anything. Better put some maintenance to that hair. It should not be looking dry. It should not be looking broken. However you wear your hair, it needs to be presentable in whatever arena you're going to wear it. Okay. I love natural hair, love texture hair, love straight, curly, wavy, however you want to do it. But professionally, we need to make sure we're taking care of the hair. And when you take care of yourself on the inside and take care of your hair by shampooing, conditioning, leave-ins, and creams, and doing all the stuff to make the hair look amazing, that's what shows beautiful hair on the outside. So it doesn't matter if it's straight or curly, wavy, whatever. Just I want it to look polished, like it's well taken care of. I don't want, you shouldn't have broken dry hair, your hair all over. You definitely should not be wearing a band. Okay. And some people think, caps and things like that are great. Based on where you're going to work, you got to ask what is the dress code? What's the policy? Okay. When we look at skin, you're an esthetician. You want the skin to look amazing or be on the road to amazing. Nothing is going to be perfect, but you'll be able to share your journey with the clients on what's been working for your skin. How do you keep your skin intact? That becomes a number one selling point. How you are looked, okay, becomes the number one selling point. Your clients coming to service you, coming to use your services for the first time. All right. Minimum accessories. We don't want bracelets that make a lot of noise, because as you're working the client's face and products, you don't want to make all that noise, and we set the atmosphere for your client to be resting. And you dangling your bracelets and doing all that and clacking, you are not creating a great atmosphere for the client. So the client did not experience an amazing experience because of the noise. Okay. Also got to make sure your nails are at a great length, well groomed, making sure that you are filed, you have a great manicure, you're filed. Also making sure, with my ladies who are esthetician, your nails are not as long as your hand. Okay. Here's the reason: you don't want to cut the clients. You don't want to put your fingers in the client's mouth as you're working. You also do not want to put your fingers in their mouth, their nose, and poke them in the eye. You can't afford to do that. Okay. You cannot afford to do that. So simply what that means is making sure your nails are well groomed, filed, okay? They're clipped, things of that nature. It says no polish or light polish is absolutely your preference. Makeup, okay? I particularly express, we're not looking for a full face, but you should be able to have some rouge or some lip gloss or something on, because this is a part of what you do. Okay, it's a part of what you do. Some people do a sunscreen with a light tint and they use a little lip gloss. That's all they use. That's fine with me. Okay, proper uniform. From lab coats to scrubs to t-shirts, whatever the uniform is, making sure it's clean, it's fresh, it's ironed. Okay, you want to make sure you have closed-toe shoes, because you're so many things. And I think it may be in the state book. I'm gonna have to pull it out. Making sure you have closed-toe shoes, because with your toes all out, it becomes a hazard in the salon or spa. And you drop anything can hurt your toes, whatever. So making sure you have closed-toe shoes. Okay. And also make sure that you're in regulations with State Board. Positive energy and healthy lifestyle. Sometimes your clients do well because you do well. Show them what you do well and challenge them to do it again. And most of the time, we will probably say, "Help me, help you." All right. We're looking at just a general blueprint of a treatment room. Blueprint of the treatment room. We're going to come back to this. It's going to probably be a final project as well when we talk about the layout of a salon or spa. Where we're going, I don't think size matters anymore because of suites. So it really depends on what type of salon or spa you want to go work at, or that you want to open up. What structure do you want to go with? Okay, so but you have to make sure you have enough room for you to work and you to move around. Also, proper ventilation, because there are chemicals and products that you use, and we work in an enclosed room. Sometimes the rooms do not have windows, so you got to make sure you have proper ventilation. Okay, so there's these little machines that are like fans that you can purchase that will circulate clean air. Okay, so take the dirty stuff out and circulate clean air. This would be awesome for your clients simply because clients come in with allergies, they come in with so much stuff. And it's not a lot of stuff, but it helps them with sinuses and allergies. Electrical outlets, I'm gonna highlight this area. Making sure you got proper electrical outlets. If you do not, making sure you have extensions and things like that in place that are strong enough. Try not to put so much stuff in the walls. And when you do that, you have to look at how old is the building. How long has the building been standing? Okay. How long has the building been standing? Is there proper electrical work? Right. Is there proper electrical work? We are not leaving wax pots on. Some of these buildings have cheap rent because they haven't had any repairs in a long time. Okay, so when you're going to look at a spot, always look at how old the building is. You can look that up, find it, LoopNet, Zillow, whatever. You're trying to figure out how old the building is, what's the last repairs, what was the last business in there. Those are some things I want to know, because I want to know, has it seen any activity in a long time? Has anyone plugged anything up in a long time? Okay. Electrical outlets, running water. Most state boards say you must have a separate sink from the bathroom sink in the esthetician's room or spa. It's for Tennessee, it's state board, and it must have running water, hot and cold. Okay. Washable flooring and workstation surfaces. Washable flooring and workstation surfaces, which means we have to keep our floors clean. State board can come in at any time. Simply what that means, make sure at the end of the day that there's a mop. Traffic going back and forth, hair, dirt, materials. When you start really working, you'll see that stuff, dead skin falling on the floor, things of that nature. You'll see that. Proper lighting. Dim lights may help relax the client and set the mood for the treatment, but the lighting should be able to be increased or decreased during skin analysis and product removal. Okay. Light fixtures. When I get to lighting, I like to talk about wall color, because black and white walls are going to be amazing and reflect the best color. But then as you start to use color walls, or paint your shop the whole turquoise blue, whole pink, if you paint it blue, all of your clients are going to look dull. So when you start to think about what kind of makeup you're going to choose the darkest of the foundations, because that's what you think you see. Well, then when I put them against a black wall or white wall with the light, it's going to reflect the natural undertone. So you can have an accent wall, it is suggested, but you still must have a traditional or something where neutral or, you know, black or white wall where you can learn the true color of the client's skin and in some cases hair. Got to make sure you have the right lighting. Okay. If a client is on the table and you have your ring light out there, you got to make sure you don't open it, you don't cut it on the highest number. The client may also have issues with seizures, things of that nature. So you exposing that bright light and not easing them into it can cause a seizure to happen. As we look at the ambience, furniture, and equipment, I told you this was setting the atmosphere. Ambience, yeah. Figure 7.4, you can look at Pinterest and give you a lot of outlines and designs. American Spa magazine as well. They give rewards about the decor of salons, the top salons in the United States, all around the world. So yeah, you can really pull inspiration. The ambience is what sells your facility. Okay. The lighting, the sound, the smell, you, all right, is going to sell your facility. It's going to book your clients. So I want you to always remember that. And I told you, just tap into the senses. Okay. Here's a key factor 269. You want this room to relax you. You have to put yourself, you want this room, okay, to relax you. Also, you're going to take a note, chapter 10, facial devices. This is going to talk about some of the advanced devices that you'll need in the treatment room. Facial devices and technology. It's all talking about microdermabrasion machine, micro needling machines, all those good machines that help get the work done. Okay. Of course, the checklist of equipment. I'm going to go over a review of that. Trolley, table, step stool, things of that nature, steamer, magnifying glass, really a facial machine. When we look at this room here, we're going to pinpoint these factors as well. Save image. Okay. Where's my print screen? Oh, I'm missing somewhere. Okay. Let me get to my print screens and print this out as well. Of course, wax pots, autoclaves. I am right now preparing to help with a salon build out, a salon. And so I'll be going in and helping, just doing some consulting about items that should be in there. And so they'll be prepared. This is a binder for safety data sheets. Mostly all products that you carry, especially chemicals from that you use on the clients, you must have a safety data sheet, an SDS sheet, and you will have it placed somewhere where all the products are. So on the wall, in the dispensary, in a particular area. If that sheet about those products tells you shelf life, what you can mix it with, what you should not mix it with, at what temperature does the product break away, at what temperature is the product just not stable anymore. If this gets in a person's eye, what do we do? That's what that particular form is. Directions for emergency purposes. Ergonomics in the treatment room, this is what we have to look at, because 9 times out of 10, a lot of times starting out, people would go affordable. Okay. And affordable may not always be the most comfortable. This is why I say if you have a round, heavy derriere, you need to spend some money on your chair. okay? Because you want it to hold up, you want it to be comfortable, and you want your weight to be balanced on the chair. All right, so we're going to spend a little money on that. When it comes to the facial bed, if you're tall, you got to get something that's sturdy, but also that can elevate the height. For if you have clients that are 300 pounds or more, some Amazon tables would say they go up to about 250. So if you're ordering your Amazon table, and 250 is still a lot, when you're ordering your Amazon table and you have clients that are on the heavier side, and they just weigh more, and they get on the table and they fall off, or the table breaks and injures them, you're liable for um, their doctor bills. You're liable for them, right? You must have a sign present that says your table only holds such and such a weight. And then you got to go back to the consultation analysis. You might have to ask them what the weight is and put a clause right there that, hey, the table only holds such and such amount of pounds. And if you want to use the table, you go at your own risk, or I cannot take clients over this amount. That's something for you to always look at. Since no part of your body should be touching the client, because a lot of times when we're laying down, we seem to move over and we don't want our breasts on top of the client's head. So we should be working with our arms out, have great structure in our back, and we should be working. Okay. Arrange the supply cart or counter as close to the treatment table as possible. When reaching for a product or implement or to adjust equipment, get up out of the chair. Do not overstretch your back to reach for something. Okay, that is not ergonomic. You're gonna have some pain somewhere. I would say also, before you service anybody, do some stretch exercises. Okay, stretching and loosening up is going to help you, because a lot of times you sit, you stand, you're bending when you're performing these services on clients. And then we're looking at costs of starting your own business. The cost may vary per zip code and city and state. That's what I tell people. Find the average size of what you need, and then compare it to a couple of other places. And even the Department of Labor will even have great numbers for you to use as well if you're trying to compare state to state or city to city, right? So that's something you can always check upon as well. And tomorrow we will do a rough estimate of what it's going to take, just say, to open up a suite, a skincare suite, okay, a facial bar, something of that nature. Um, Properly managing the treatment room supplies. As you can look here and see how they're all organized and set up. This is a general table setup. There are other ones, but this is what standard of what we go by. Your items must be clean, nozzles clean, bottles clean, labeled and set aside. Okay. Any kind of spatula must be in a jar or Ziploc bag. Nothing can be left out on the container. Cotton, all of that has to be in enclosed containers or Ziploc bags. Okay, you cannot have cotton and like, oh, I didn't use that cotton, I'm gonna leave it out for the next one. No, 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 no. That's you spending your money down the drain, because you took that out for that client and it hit air and it sat out there. The next client can't take that because we don't know what I got on. Okay, so you gotta practice what we preach, and that's infection control, and it has to be put away like it's supposed to. So supplies can be multi-use and there are single use. We got to learn the difference between the two. Woo! Per State Board of Cosmetology for Tennessee, you have to learn the difference between single use and multi-use. When we go for our practical exam, they're going to ask you the difference between single use and multi-use. Single use, we only use one time, throw it away. Q-tips, okay? Eyeshadow wands. lip gloss ones, the disposable ones, makeup sponges. We use ones and throw them away because they absorb moisture. And if they can absorb moisture, they can absorb bacteria. And we start to spread it from person to person. Okay? Multi-use tweezers, combs, brushes, extractor tools. Okay? Probably made up of metal. Wash those, get them disinfected. Okay? And clean them, put them in the barbicide, rinse them and clean them, and we put them away. We will continue to use those because it does not absorb moisture. Here's a list of facial treatment supplies and implements. We're going to go over this in the PowerPoint slide tomorrow. Okay. It's just a basic list of what you should have if you're going to perform the facial. You can add to it or take away, but this is just a standard. Your single use items, definitely. Okay. Fragrance-free tissues like Kleenex, gauze, makeup sponges, paper towels, as I said before, disposable hair wraps, disposable bedding, linen, okay? Sheets and blankets, we'll use that again. So we'll take it up, put it in multi-use, and everything that you can think of that only use once, that you wouldn't dare use on anybody else, that's single use, okay? That is single use. All of these are single use. These are disposables, mascara, spatula sticks, Q-tips, all disposable. These are single use. Once I use them one time, they have to be thrown away. I cannot reuse them. As we look at some of the products that we're going to be using, let's look at body cream, massage creams, cleanser, disincrustation solution. Tomorrow, we're going to go with the products as well, or whenever you want to do the makeup day. We're going to go with the products as well, along with the equipment. We'll have colorful presentation, and you'll be able to see the difference between each. Looking at your facial station, you will need a facial chair, a magnifying lamp, a consultation chart. We do dry form, and you can do something digital, unscented facial tissues, gloves, aesthetic wipes, disposable headbands, hand sanitizers, spatulas, closed lid garbage cans, disposable towels, rubber mixing bowls, okay? The metal mixing bowls, they're saying, the metal has a reaction. It depends on whether you're doing it for hair, skin, or nails. If I'm putting acid pills, and we don't put acid pills or any kind of chemical into metal bowls, because it'll cause a reaction when those two cling together. And now we don't know if it caused their product to be unstable before we put it on the face. So go with some rubber or plastic bowls, okay? Cape, cotton, trolley, everything you need to make it happen. List of products, cosmetics, materials. We'll be going over that in your next meeting day. So let me know what day you want to choose. Prepare the treatment room for services. Okay, so it says before setting up the room, refer to the checklist. So we got to check that checklist. That checklist is going to keep us on point. Checklist, checklist, checklist. Setting out your single-use items. You don't set them all out. You're going to set a few. And what you're going to use. Everything is going to start with you washing your hand. And I'm going to highlight in yellow the second paragraph. Set out single-use supplies on a clean towel in the order they will be used. Okay, it's helping you so you don't get to be skipping. Do not put clean or soiled supplies on bare counter surfaces. You must have a towel or a paper towel present for you to lay your tools on. That's going to be very important when you get ready to go take your state board exam. As we prepare to close for today, when we talk about arranging the products, just like how you arrange your supplies, you will also arrange your products, just making it easy. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Get familiar with it and put it in order as such. with your dressing area, you do want to have your client come out of their clothing, especially any tops, okay? Because remember, as an esthetician and you're doing a facial, our scope of practice that we service is the décolleté. It is the neck and it is the face. Those are primarily what we service the most. And we don't just do a facial on the face. I also got to make sure I remove the dead skin cells on the neck, front and back. I also got to make sure the décolleté is good. Top cleavage area, shoulder to shoulder is good. So we want to make sure they take that shirt off, have a robe or some type of covering that they would use to make sure they're good. They're protected. When we're talking about dressing as well, we had this happening at the school where I had to have a talk, and um, practicing is not social media content. Okay, social media, I don't mind students building their social medias, but it should come after you have service, after you have learned to service. Okay, a client deserves your complete attention after you have service. Okay, and that should be when and then it's if they are okay with you using the camera. I had one young lady, she got a back treatment and they took a picture or they took a video and she had side boobs sticking out. Her husband was upset. So yeah, we stopped cameras in the treatment room. No cameras in the treatment room for us. And then closing out, cleaning and disinfecting out the implements. This is a refresher. Don't put it in the whole page. Put it in pink. So we know this is something we definitely need to go back to. Again, even though we're moving into treatment room, we're also still piggybacking off of the infection control chapter. And you're going to see every chapter is going to be what it's supposed to be, but it's going to always go back to little pieces of infection control. Okay. That's our study session for today. We're going to pick up at 283 tomorrow. Let's see where we are. Okay. We're about to close out. So tomorrow we're gonna look at our PowerPoint and we're gonna look at maybe one or two videos. Yes, you can wear gloves. Tennessee prefers you to wear gloves, but we understand that some people are not going to wear gloves. Tomorrow works for you, great, same time. We would go through the makeup like the chapter. In your apprenticeship, you have more makeup hands on, but yeah, we would do it like a short makeup class as well. Okay. See you tomorrow, same time. Excited about closing this chapter out, and so we can start fresh with facial treatments next week. Have a blessed and amazing evening. This video, once it's ended,